So I'm shooting on a GFX100II, but using a trigger. So technically it is a Wi-Fi on a super high-end camera in which I use the Fujifilm remote app to trigger the image. But your belly is still months ago, when I found out that I was pregnant, I chanced upon an invite link in a forum calling for mummies who were giving birth in January to come and join the chat. We chat about pregnancy on a daily basis, but we've never actually met. So that's how the idea for this shoot came about. Partly, I really wanted to meet some of the mummies that I was chatting with. They were just names that I was talking to online. I had no idea how they looked like, and I invited them to come to a photo shoot. So the meetup for the shoot is a bit like going on a blind date with 5 pregnant women. I posed the mummies and sort of left a gap for myself to enter. After we've gotten the lighting correct, after we've gotten the poses correct and ironed out, some of the nitty-gritties about the precision of the poses, I then enter the photo. All the shots have been triggered by me, which is why you see me holding a handphone. The eye detection solves the sharpness issue in all of the images. So it's the most expensive pregnancy Wi-Fi you can find in the market. GFX100II is the first camera to introduce the real-life film simulation. In fact, it is quite a modern film that was just discontinued in the year 2013. I was using a lot of Superiors. Reala is from the Superior family. And so when I knew that this was being introduced, I was actually quite excited to see how this would look like. Being pregnant and birthing a new life, one does go through a range of emotions and also, like different tastes. I am right now very drawn to very earthy tones. I'm sort of inclined to this nude blush beige tonality, and I think it's a very sort of maternity color. The capabilities of the GFX will actually help to bring out this very subtle tonal variation in this range of browns. Fujifilm has its own proprietary color algorithm that it's done up for all its film simulations that's being input into our cameras when we first buy it. If we shoot in RAW and we take that RAW file into an external software, say Adobe for example, Adobe has its own sort of calculations to simulate the real simulation. So the most accurate Fujifilm intended reala is the reala that you get straight out of camera. So that's why I've chosen to conduct the entire shoot in JPEG and at super fine quality. There's already a lot of color information to play with that I can quite effectively push and pull highlights and shadows in my JPEG files. Once you touch skin tones, increase their exposure or decrease their exposure, skin tones tend to change slightly. It's best to shoot the skin tone at exposure 0 and not touch it at all. In the studio where we did our shoot, we were able to control the lighting very precisely. I was also able to adjust white balance to a 5600, which is slightly warmer. And I also did a little bit of a white balance shift. So I was able to achieve a very precise color even before I take my first proper shot. So as you can see in Lightroom, I've just pulled up the tone curve, bringing out the shadows slightly so we can see a bit more detail in the mommy's hair. That really is about it. It really saves so much time in post-editing. All the work has been done in light testing, which is like 5 or 10 shots. I didn't even have to shoot RAW, and I already have a 15 megapixel file. It's already good enough to be blown on a billboard.